Hey people, Shaman Hawk here for Shamanic Lodge. So, I get this question often, and just a couple days ago, somebody I've been working with, asked me again, made a comment, and we are talking about like the public in response to information that we would share, shamans share out in the public. When I say share out in the public, it could be like a YouTube video, it could be lectures and workshops. And he was saying, look, I know your projects. You talk about how other people are just kind of like doing Disney shamanism, but you're not really putting out there the information that even I know about and the things you've done. Why is that? Maybe if you gave out more powerful information, people would actually take things a little bit more seriously. Yeah, that's true. They could. And they could do more serious things with them. But there's a huge difference in giving out information on a one on one conversation to a student or apprentice, sharing it with other shamans or other shamanic practitioners, and compared to just throwing it out there, out the window into the public. And it's for the same reason you wouldn't want to just, put out all kinds of information on how to make improvised explosive devices. People do that here, but you don't know who's going to do what with it. And I wouldn't want to be responsible for that. The nice thing about the kind of explosion is just like boom, and there's primary and collateral damage, and then the situation's over. With more energetic work, that stuff can last generations. It can stay in an area, it can contaminate a zone, and have that spread out through the rest of a hemisphere, even. So, no. I mean, we can't just throw this stuff out there. I mean, when there'll be discussions sometimes within shamanic circles of issues that are coming up, and we know, well, maybe we should tell the people some things. But we're also going to look at the crowd and look at how the mass is responding to an issue of what's going on in that time period. And we have to go back just now over the last 2.5 years of this whole scandemic. It's like no one passed biology ever in school. When you start looking around, like the mask thing. I mean, I could go into that and just, the size of a virus, the space in between the weave of a mask, and you're trying to stop a mosquito with a chain link fence. And all the other parts of the narrative that made the sheeple just stampede in one direction and hostile against people who were trying to point out facts, obvious facts, and common sense. Labeling those people is conspiracy theorists and so on, getting them banned from platforms. I've been banned from Facebook permanently, um, TikTok once, shadow banned on my other platforms for spreading truth. Okay, truth, simple truths. But yet, people are like, well, if you have the information, it should be available to everyone. No, it shouldn't. And realistically, if that was really true, why aren't you getting the information? How about that? If it's that easy, if it's that accessible, if it's meant to be for everyone, why isn't everyone getting it? Because they're not tuned into it. Because they're running all these other useless apps in their mind, fanning the fear fire, going along with their own agenda to fit a narrative for virtue signaling, get more followers, or whatever else. I mean, it's a real mystery to a lot of us. We just don't know what pilots the public. We can only speculate from some of the hysteria that we see. And so when it comes to really just putting out there, yeah, we'd probably hit more people if we put out more valuable information, fanned it out over social media platforms. But the odds are you'll get more damage than you get positive result. Damage that is almost irreparable, especially within a generation. And that's the truth, and that's really a concern of ours, and that's why we don't share a lot of this stuff. We see people still wearing masks. We still people he's doing these stupid pet tricks, out in public for who knows why. No, Because some of the stuff that you could give people over mass media would be like handing out guns at a daycare center. That's the truth. And now and some people are going to call it a judgment. Well, you're like, as if everybody's stupid. Oh, no, not everybody. But again, let me remind you of what we've been watching over the last 2.5 years. Here, let's try a little other little complete thought that people will just turn their head around. They just ignore it. You still have to walk through the little corridor, like you do in some farmyard, to go to your checkout, to go through security, to get zapped by X-rays every airport, and that's not good. Let me remind you, people, that X-ray technicians wear lead vests, and they're not the ones getting getting the X-ray. But yet, if you do like I do transatlantic, you could be X-rayed 3 or 4 times. We're a transatlantic flight. You got some stops, and then you're going to go to other little flights within Europe. I can get easily one trip, one of my 3-month trips through Europe. I can get X-rayed a dozen times, 12 or more times, easy. Now think about that, and I feel different after I've detoxed from that for a few months. I feel a lot different now since I haven't gone anywhere in 2.5 years. But when you want to cross the border illegally in the United States, you don't have to do any of that. You have to have an ID to buy alcohol, but you can have a warrant for your arrest to be viable paper to get into the United States illegally. Little things like that, people. Stand 6 feet apart. And you'll watch people do this, stand 6 feet apart, waiting to check in, but they're going to be shoulder to shoulder, asshole to belly button in an airplane with 400 other people. And you want us to give you more powerful information? No. Fuck no. Come on. Do we hold all this stuff? No. I mean, I do share it with a good number of people who I know that I could trust with it, who are making huge life changes. They really are. They're taking this and they're like, oh, yeah. It's like fire, electricity. It's power. But if you just want to be neglectful or do something stupid, it's disastrous. Think about one person and just being an idiot with fireworks, flicking a cigarette out of a car window, things like that, burn down hundreds of or thousands of acres and homes and cause all kinds of death. Okay. Well, some of the stuff that we work with is just like that. It's great to work with people who are in terminal conditions or diseases or catastrophic events, but have somebody do something stupid or just being neglectful or say, oh, well, what could happen? You'll find out. So we go through these screening processes with people, just like make sure that they're going to pay attention. Like you would, how do you know it's okay to give a kid matches or a lighter? They prove themselves. You don't want that one kid killing the rest of the siblings because they set the house on fire. It's like, uh-oh, I don't know what happened. Same thing with using the stove. So I wish I had better news, but I don't. And so that's why, and a part of this too is when people are doing apprenticeships, that's part of the proving. And when you tell them that where they could go, what they'd be able to do, they don't believe that it could be part of their future. And then when they look back, it's like, wow, I never thought I'd be here. Well, yeah, deprogramming, proper training, a good environment, a good application of information, a safe application and study ground. These are all part of apprenticeships, from responsible teachers. And that allows you to be able to work with this. Just like when I taught my daughters and some grandkids to be able to cook outside over an open fire, I had to be aware of the environment. Be aware. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what's happening. Think ahead. Well, no, people just don't do that. And so, no, they don't get that. And then sometimes it's sad we let people, suffer, or it means a bad end sometimes because we can't take the chance of what we're seeing them do. 2 years ago, I was working with a girl that had lung cancer. And we were working with some energetics, and then boom, she went right back into smoking a couple packs a day. It's like, okay, can't help you. And the energetics that we were doing were specifically around breath and firework. And she was doing really good. Boom, it's like, okay, close the door. She's dead now. And people are like, well, you could have done more. Yeah, I could have. But the way that she was sharing the information and the collateral damage that was coming from that was like, no, I can't go any further with this. And so, but yeah, there's other examples like that. But you guys, a lot of you just don't take this stuff seriously. It's like when you do see the real power come out, and you really do see people make these miraculous recoveries when they look like the Walking Dead a week earlier, then you're like, holy shit, this is real. Well, yeah, and that's how programmed a lot of you are. That this is all fairy tale stuff. No, it's not. And here, the other part, I'm going to do another video later about really coming into your power. And it's easy. All right. And so when people look at some of the stuff that we do and they look at it as miracles, no, it's not. This is the way humanity, I don't want to say supposed to be, but can be on a normal basis. It doesn't have to be all the suffering. It doesn't have to be all the mindlessness, all the waste of life force energy. It doesn't have to be like that at all. This really can be paradise on earth. I mean, absolutely. And it's really easy to do. But it's hard to break people away from that leash that they want to be tied to, because they're not responsible for their life. They're not responsible for anything. I mean, they're just real okay with this being told what to do. So that's another reason why we just can't hand out this information like this. All right, guys. If you got a question, leave them in the comments. It seems to be more. So something I notice on the platforms, especially TikTok, they take down about 5 videos a week, telling me they're going to ban me anytime, like I care. But most of the stuff that they take down is all about self empowerment, self healing, anything for you to put the power in your own hands. They don't want any part of it. Now, maybe it's all because it's Chinese communist app, but the same things are happening here. I don't call for any violence. I don't call for any extremism. I just say, you can be powerful. You can heal yourself. You can fix yourself. But they just don't want people to do that. That's how much it's about control. And then it goes back to, well, if you gave more information out, no, that has never proven to work. Sorry. But if you like any of the stuff, you want to do more, leave a comment. You can email me at shamaniclodge@gmail.com. And I'm taking more on people, but it's an energy exchange. There's compensation involved. These things take time, and the bills need to get paid too. So it's a working thing. The people that I do work with are doing really well at it. They also realize this is an investment in their future, and that's why their life changes are working out so well. I can give them that time, because there's a nice exchange going on. All right, guys. Catch you guys later.